Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon in 15 minutes. Michael Braswell in studio in 1 hour. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
As they say, to the victor go the spoils. LSU wins the program's 8th national championship on Sunday. Now, many a celebratory endeavor are taking place. I'll just get you caught up very quickly for those who have not heard yet. On Wednesday, several of the key members of LSU's national championship team are going to be over at the OG Raising Cane's right there on Highland, just through the North Gates. It'll be Kate Anderson. It'll be, make sure I have this right. Boy, they've added some players to it then. So it's Anderson, it's Derek Curiel, Bear Jones, Kate Anderson, Anthony Ianson, and Chase Shores. They will be there making their appearance from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So there'll be a lot of media stuff there, but you are welcome to go. They'll be, quote-unquote, working as servers. But it'll be, again, Wednesday at the OG Raising Cane's from 10 to 11. And then later on in the evening, there will be the championship celebration over at Alec Box Stadium. It'll still be very similar to what we saw just 2 years ago. It'll be on the field. They'll have the championship trophy. Jay will speak, players will speak, and they'll honor the champs. So if you're looking for things to do and celebrating this team as they're back, Wednesday's a big day to do it. Again, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. over at Raising Cane's. You'll see a handful of players in the championship celebration Wednesday night out at Alec Box Stadium. And it's so interesting because, for Jay Johnson, it's a chance to honor this team, but also simultaneously while he's turning the page, moving forward. If you missed the conversation we had with Jay here on AFR yesterday, I thanked him profusely yesterday, he and Nate Yeske both, they landed in Baton Rouge shortly after 2 o'clock Central Time. They were back at the box about 3 o'clock. Just after 5 o'clock, they were on the phone with us. And I appreciate both of them very much for their time. But as I started to think about it, there were two things from those conversations that really resonated. One was Nate Yeske. Well, there was a lot from that. Yeske talking about how before Kate Anderson's complete game shutout, he said he was actually spraying the ball in the bullpen. Didn't think he was on that day. Man, was he able to translate it from as they say, from the driving range to the course. But to also Nate Yeske getting emotional, talking about his father. Of course, his father passed earlier this year, and you never know the human side of this whole thing, what it means to people. And for Jay Johnson, one of the things he told us here on the show when I asked him, years ago, he said this is the only job he wanted. Like, he wouldn't leave this job for the Yankees, is the way he put it. And now having won 2 championships in 4 years, and that's certainly an evolution, and I would never hold him to that, and things can change, and people change, and expectations change, and all that different stuff. Goals in life change. But I asked Jay why he loves this job so much, and I think you pretty succinctly laid it out.
I think it's twofold. We can recruit the caliber of player that I can legitimately help them achieve their dream of being a major league player. And if you do that with enough guys, it manifests itself into you getting an opportunity to live your dream, which, was to play in Omaha. And been fortunate now to do that 4 times, and 2 times here. And the 2 times here, we have 2 national championships. And, it's kind of like at this time in my life, like, that's the place I want to be, like, my spot in the world. And just very grateful and thankful. And the other part I would say is the care level of so many people about what you do. At least in college baseball, it only exists at LSU. I mean, I had one of my best friends is in a similar position in sports media like you have. He's been in San Diego. He's in Chicago now. And he would always call college baseball a channel changer as far as you guys. Well, it's not in Baton Rouge. And I'm really thankful for that because I do think what we do is important. We got great players that are better people, and they deserve the support. Everybody's always going to get behind LSU. This 2025 team was a team that definitely warranted and deserved that support. And
they got it. And they were able to bring home championship number 8. So we did touch on this a bit a day ago, but I think it's important now, and there will be celebration of this team and should be celebration of this team, and we'll have a lifetime to do that. There's also a very real part of this conversation for Jay Johnson and his staff that now turns the page to 2026, because if there is one detriment, it's kind of ironic to say that it's a detriment. Like, the best thing that can happen to your program, winning in the national championship, is a detriment. That's actual irony. A lot of people misuse it. But if there is a detriment, it's that you are behind in building your 2026 roster because you took 2 weeks right in smack dab in the middle of portal season and this really pivotal time 2 weeks before the draft, and you just left. You left campus for 2 weeks. Now, Jay Johnson said it. I believe it was actually Josh Jordan who was here with us on Friday when I asked him about this. He said, "Oh, that's true, but I'm paraphrasing. But the best recruiting tool is winning the national championship," which is true. So you spin it how you have to, but it doesn't change the fact that now Jay and the staff have to get cracking for 2026, and they have a shorter runway. If you just look at the roster, how it is constructed, there's 4 players that are out of eligibility. One of them will be in our studio here in less than an hour in Michael Braswell. So Braswell and Josh Pearson, Luis Hernandez, and Dalton Beck, those 4 are out of eligibility. You currently have 9 players in the transfer portal. So that's 13 players right there that are going to be gone. And then you look at the draft and guys that are either going to go or have a decision to make, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the obvious ones, right? Cade Anderson, Anthony Ianson, Chase Shores, Jacob Myers, Connor Ware, Bear Jones, Ethan Fry, Daniel Dickinson, Chris Stanfield. That's 9 players right there that you're also going to be keeping an eye on in the draft. And then there's others that have remaining eligibility that could still enter the transfer portal, and we'll see what transpires there. A lot of you have mentioned some of the names and asked me, and I don't have anything to add. They'll have exit interviews with all these players, and the players will make decisions if they're back or if they do what's best for them. I mean, I could guess. Tanner Reeves is a guy that'll be going into his draft year that has to play. He's got it. It's similar to Paxton Kling. He's got to be on the field every day next year. Braswell returning this year when everyone thought he was going to sign last year kind of threw a monkey wrench into that. But it was great. I mean, you had a veteran SEC infielder returning. It was awesome for this team. Ashton Larson's a guy who you could imagine going into his draft year next year. It's going to have to be somewhere where he's going to be able to play every day. That opportunity may not necessarily be there immediately at LSU. So I don't know what those guys are going to do. I have no clue. I would be guessing totally. I'm just saying there's some that have decisions to make, and those are the things that we're going to watch as Jay Johnson and his staff start to build the roster for next year, which, remember, with all the rule changes now, the baseball rosters for 2026 will go to 34. So 34 players on the roster next year. And as this continues to evolve here in these coming weeks, certainly with portal targets, and then what happens in the draft, who do you lose, who do you retain? We'll have a much better sense here in about 3 weeks of what this roster for 2026 is going to look like, and we'll follow it all the way along. It is After Further Review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR and the official beer of your national champion LSU baseball Tigers. I would surmise a guest a guess that there will, in fact, be a championship bottle coming soon, and we're certainly looking forward to that whenever it comes out. Got the limited edition LSU 16-ounce bottle on set with us here. Of course, when the women won the basketball team won the national championship a couple of years ago, they had those celebratory bottles. Most certainly the same will be the case for this baseball team. If and when those drop, we'll certainly let you know. But in the meantime, if you're celebrating the Tigers, just grilling in the back patio or whatever you may be doing, kicking up at the beach or just watching your favorite sports on TV this summer, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR and the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Okay, it's after further review, y'all. We were a one-topic day yesterday. There are some things that happened this weekend that I want to get into, most notably Bowe Bentley, the quarterback target for LSU in the class of 2026, was down to LSU and Oklahoma. Over the weekend, he picked Oklahoma. So LSU now is staring down a second consecutive recruiting cycle without a quarterback. Shea Dixon's going to join us next. We'll talk about that, and also a giant weekend with the Bayou Splash this past weekend. We'll recap all of it with Shea Dixon as we continue. We're glad you're with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
After further review.
Watermark and Renaissance, two amazing hotel properties. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. The Watermark, voted by you the best hotel in the best of 225. And when we talk about the Watermark, yes, it's a piece of Baton Rouge's history. It's old Louisiana National Bank building, the original high-rise building in downtown Baton Rouge. They've maintained so much of the history of that building while adding modern amenities. It is the picture of luxury. If you want a luxury hotel in Baton Rouge, it's the Watermark. You got an event going on in downtown Baton Rouge and you don't want to drive, you want to stay downtown and walk, easy. Stay at the Watermark, walk to your event. Great way to have a little staycation this summer as well. Also, the Gregory, right there in the lobby of the Watermark Hotel. It is fine dining. It is an awesome place. We have a great meal. Try the duck entree. Trust me, if you love duck, go to the Gregory in the Watermark, order the duck. You'll thank me later. And, of course, if you're looking to host an event, anything from a wedding reception to a board meeting, they can host you downtown Baton Rouge right there at Watermark Baton Rouge.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Pelicans, a little bit in the news as well. Not exactly what you expected to hear, but they're trading C.J. McCollum to the Wizards, if you haven't heard that news. We got the info at LouisianaSports.net. We'll get to that a bit later this hour as well. It was a pretty significant weekend, both on the good and the bad side for LSU in recruiting. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, joins us every Tuesday here to talk a little recruiting, and what an appropriate time to do it. Shea, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I survived what is now entered a 2-month-long NCAA recruiting dead period. So they used to keep that final weekend of July open, which is when they would have the Bayou Splash recruiting event. Now that's closed. It's closed all of August. So they crammed Friday Night Lights, the Bayou Splash, and double-digit official visitors into a national championship weekend when most folks, I think, were paying attention to things in Omaha, while back at Baton Rouge, kind of the future of the program is had a pretty important weekend.
Yeah, man. I want to talk about the weekend and who was here and the significance of it. But if I could start with Bowe Bentley. You and I have been talking about Bentley for months here, and he, over the weekend, did announce his commitment, and he's going to be an Oklahoma Sooner. So can you walk me through sort of the what happened, why OU won out here over LSU?
I mean, OU had been circled as the team from the start that he was highest on. He grew up in the area of Texas where there's a lot of Sooner fans, and he was one of them. Their kind of household was one of them. But we're talking about a kid who didn't start until his junior year of high school this past fall. So his recruitment didn't really blow up until January, February, and when he started to kind of reel in some really big offers off that season. And that played into LSU's hands, at least, because when Bryce Underwood leaves you at the altar in the 11th hour and you do go and sign a portal quarterback, a starter out of the SEC in Michael Bay and Buren out of state, you don't want to go, and skip another class back-to-back of high school recruiting. That's not ideal after not signing anyone in December. So they sort of latched on to Bentley, and they went from part of a huge group all the way down to kind of the team that was always the team to beat, OU, and then LSU, and he gave them back-to-back officials. And I don't know, Matt, it just felt like the further out we got from the two officials that things were probably going to come back to where they started for Bentley. And and that was OU as, like I said, the team to beat. So it wasn't a big surprise when he picked OU. I think more so it's, okay, where does LSU go from here? Because, again, you don't want to skip back-to-back, high school recruiting cycles.
So, Shea, that's the very obvious next question is, where do they go from here?
Well, they went ahead and offered Bryson Beaver, who is a four-star, pretty fast riser, tore up the Elite 11, made Oregon and Ole Miss visits in recent weeks. But in the past few weeks, LSU and other schools had been in talks with Beaver. And for LSU, it was, hey, look, if things don't work out with Bowe Bentley, who do we pivot to? And Beaver officially picked up his offer in the time since Bentley committed to OU on Friday. So they've got the new offer out, but again, we're in a 2-month-long dead period now. So the goal is to get a kid to say, hey, look, I'm going to wait until I can make a visit and kind of do things beyond Zoom calls with the staff and all of that, because there's no in-person contact allowed. And if he does wait, well, then LSU's very much in the picture. And I almost think, look, Auburn offered, other offers are starting to roll in. If more offers come in, does he press pause and say, hey, let me look beyond Oregon and Ole Miss, who, yes, he was on Oregon's campus this past weekend, but that was his first visit there. So, again, a guy who's kind of blown up later in the process. Does he allow that to continue to play out is the big question. And then after that, it's, hey, does, the staff and Joe Sloan try to go flip a guy who, you play that out during the season, but it's the NIL era. We don't know what happens with these teams in the fall. We don't know about coaching changes. We don't know if a team goes and adds a portal quarterback that leaves, your incoming quarterback a little uneasy at the high school level. So I still think this one could go a few different ways depending on what Beaver does and then ultimately kind of how the fall plays out for LSU and other teams.
Still very much to be determined for the most important position on the field. Tigers without a quarterback still for the class 2026. We'll see. Shea, this weekend Lamar Brown was on campus, and last week we talked about him not being on campus. Then he was going to be on campus, and by all accounts, it looked like it went really well. What can you tell us?
Yeah, they had sort of all hands on deck here. It's tough to provide something new to a kid from U-High who goes to school on campus and has been offered since he basically came on the football scene. But they had Mason Smith back in town. Obviously, he's in the NFL now, but he's become a bit of a mentor playing the D-line position that Lamar Brown wants to play. He was a 5-star coming out of Louisiana, so they were able to kind of talk things through beyond what the coaching staff and, fit and pitch him to stay home and NIL discussions. They still try to kind of drive home, hey, look, here's some guys that you can trust, that you're familiar with. And that went into Keelan Moses pitching in, his U-High teammate. And I think one notable thing was that Jordan Gilbert was part of the weekend. And we're talking about Lamar Brown, who's got every offer coast to coast. But I think most people feel that if you were betting on where a 16, 17, 18-year-old is going to go to school, that A&M and LSU would be the two odds-on favorites here. And Jordan Gilbert is a U-High kid who went to A&M, and when he had the opportunity, came back to LSU and started this past season. And I think for them to sit down together and talk things over, that's kind of an experience that, for Jordan, that can hit home with what Lamar is weighing right now. So, look, I've had my pick on Lamar to end up at LSU for a couple of years now. I'm not going to change it right now, but he does have a decision coming here in, probably 2 weeks, 14 days, something like that, if not a little more. So as the dust settles, Matt, from these wave of official visits that included Miami, Texas, unofficial visits to schools, I think we'll start to kind of get a little bit more clear picture. But I'll give LSU the edge right here, but I will absolutely acknowledge that A&M is still very much in this.
Shea, there were a couple of committed 5-stars on campus, and one you mentioned was Richard Anderson, the number 1 defensive tackle in the country. I saw one of the pictures. It was Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson kind of like side by side, and I think the caption maybe was, the SEC's in trouble if these two pair together. What was the significance of having Anderson there on campus this weekend for this big recruiting weekend?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think it's spending time around guys like Lamar Brown, who we've joked about it. Not many 280-pounders are ranked as the number 1 athlete in the country, but when you can play O-line or D-line in college, then at the SEC level, you're pretty deserving of it. But he wants to go the D-line route, and Richard Anderson's the number 1 D-lineman in the country right now. So that is a pitch for LSU to say, hey, look, pair you guys up together. And that's a pretty nice 1-2 punch of 5 stars coming out of Louisiana to play in the trenches. And again, D-line and 5 stars don't come around all that often relative to the edge position versus some interior guys. So I think that was a pitch. Again, at the same time, it's locking up Richard Anderson. He's a 5-star, number 1 D-lineman out there. He did not make any other official visits this summer, which is a win for LSU. And then as we go into this 2-month-long dead period, LSU was the last visit that he took. So I think when you sit down and you talk things over, kind of every angle of his recruitment, that LSU left the weekend feeling pretty good about a guy who, I'll tell you, Matt, after what he did last year going through into the state playoffs, how he's looked this spring, this is going to be one of the better D linemen to come out of the state of Louisiana in a while. And we'll be talking about Richard Anderson a good bit if he does indeed sign with LSU and end up suiting up in purple and gold.
Couple more for you. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tigers with us. Another 5-star committed that's on campus is Tristan Keys, the number 1 receiver in the country. Where do things stand with Keys after the official visit and then some of the rumblings in the past few weeks?
The goal was really twofold. A, get him to this point and have him still committed. And when you've got, agents involved with the NIL era, 5-star receivers are about, as involved as it gets when teams go, other teams pitching them on NIL opportunities and all of that. Buzz Cook, who's Brett Favre's agent, a Hattiesburg guy, and obviously Tristan's a Hattiesburg native, has been kind of one of the people involved on the agent side of things as someone who can help out with his recruitment. And I think when you go to Tennessee, you go to Miami, you go to A&M, you make these visits, they're going to pitch a lot of different things. And it's tough to kind of sit and wait and continue to battle over the phone and get him in for unofficial visits until you make it to that final weekend before the dead period. But the twofold goal was A, getting him there, got him there committed, and then B, having his mom there, which kind of the short and skinny of it is that he's visited LSU a ton since 9th grade, but often the Hattiesburg High coaches would bring him, they'd bring his teammates, all of that. This was him and his mom's weekend to finally kind of really get an extended look at things, her to sit down with LSU and talk things over, and by all accounts, things went very well there. So do I know if Tristan Keys 100% will sign with LSU in December? No. Do I feel better about that now that I saw him not decommit at any point this summer and then give LSU this final visit? And absolutely.
Hey, Shea, before you go, let's finish where we started. You mentioned the 2-month dead period that's coming up here. So what should we be on the lookout for while things are quiet over the summer?
Oh, we kind of talked about it, Bryson Beaver. It's like you're rooting against the kid there, your new quarterback offer, to make a decision because you haven't got him to campus. But the reality is a lot of these guys are going to be ready to make decisions because that's what they do. They let the dust settle from all the visits across the off season, and ahead of their senior year, they say, hey, look, I'm ready to shut things down. So I would keep an eye here in the next few weeks. July 4th is big, running through July 10th when Lamar Brown is circled, and kind of even into the middle of the month. A lot of guys who have LSU in their top group are going to go ahead and commit. So they've hit double-digit commits already, but I think that number is going to grow here. We're almost to the end of June, so in the next 21 days, I would expect LSU's commit list to add a few more spots.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. You'll give him a follow at Shea Dixon. Great time to go sign up as well over there at On 3, the Bengal Tiger. Shea, we appreciate it as always, man. We'll visit next week.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, be well. It is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Y'all, Rouse's, love getting by there. Was there last Friday for our Rouse's remote, and everybody was gearing up for the weekend with the purple and gold invasion in Omaha. But for everybody who stayed back, man, they had you ready. And I tell you all the time, if you're looking to build a better burger, throw something on the grill, they got you covered there. If you want, their party platters and snacks and trays as you're maybe having a weekend get-together by the pool or whatever it may be this summer, they got you covered over at Rouse's. Many of them already prepared, grab and go. If there's something specific you want, you can call ahead, order your party platter. They'll have it ready for you to go whatever time of day you want to pick it up. It's at Rouse's. Got to get all those items on your grocery list or need a place to pop in for a quick grab-and-go lunch or dinner? Rouse's is the place. They've been doing it for about 100 years now. Voted the best supermarket in the Gulf South. It's Rouse's. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Michael Braswell is going to be in studio 30 minutes from right now as the champions continue to celebrate their victory in Omaha. Continue to do that on Wednesday with the championship celebration out at Alec Box Stadium. But I'm excited to talk to Braswell here in about half hour because, man, what an interesting 2 years in Baton Rouge he had. He had the big offensive leap from his year at South Carolina to his first year at LSU where he ended up hitting .310. And then this year found himself in a platoon situation at third base, ultimately wins the job with the bat win and the deep freeze. I can't even imagine what it was like going through that this year. But we're going to ask Michael Braswell that and then also his plans for what's next. So we'll have a little time with Braswell coming up here in hour number 2, 30 minutes from right now. So he'll be in studio with us. We look forward to that. All right, stick around with us here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local and shop local. Hey, look, when the weather is getting like it is right now and we're spending more time outside during the summer, it's 90 degrees right now. But you want to enjoy your outdoor spaces, beautify your outdoor spaces, Clegg's can help you do that. Of course, they got the best selection of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs. If you need soil or mulch, bag or bulk, they got it. You need all the outdoor decor from tuned wind chimes, which are a gorgeous accent piece to any outdoor space, bird feeders, hummingbird feeders. They've got all that at Clegg's as well. But remember, if you got those pests that you don't want in and around your house, they can help you there as well. The Aeon Mosquito Barrier is a great product to tell you about all the time. If you need ant killer, wasp spray, roach spray, snake away, they got it all. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, glad you're hanging out with us here. We're powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Big shout out to our friends over at Sunshine, sunequip.com. Tell you all the time, bunky and below, you want a Deere? You're going to Sunshine, sunequip.com. Michael Braswell, look at this guy. Early. He's already here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock this segment out, and then we're going to get Braswell in here a segment early. So tell your friends if they're waiting on him at 4. He's here early. I love that. I love being prompt. Actually, early. That's great. Let's do this. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Texas Longhorns.
5-star defensive end Richard Wesley committed to Texas in the ESPN 300. He's the number 18 overall prospect. Had an OV this weekend in Austin. 6'5", 250. He's out of California. He's the 3rd-ranked defensive end in this current cycle. He reclassified from 27 to 26. Now says he'll be a member of the Longhorns football team. Longhorn baseball team landed a commitment from an ACC transfer shortstop, Timo Becerra, who's a Stanford transfer. Stanford in the ACC. Still throws me off every time. 6'1", 186. Didn't play as a freshman in 2021. Played 130 games, though, over the last 3 seasons and slashed .330, .384, .427 this past season. For Stanford, he is headed to Austin.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
We don't have an Arkansas. It's Texas A&M.
Texas A&M!
There it is. A&M landed a commitment from an Arkansas transfer. That's where you were going, Alon. Yeah, we'll go with with who got the commitment. And we get to play the goofy Texas A&M yell anyway. That's good, too. Zane Becker, he's staying in the SEC, leaving Arkansas and headed to Texas A&M. Shared his commitment on social media. Played 20 games this last year for the Razorbacks with just 31 at-bats. He'll head to College Station. Coming out of high school, he was the number 34 player in the state of Texas, number 386 in the nation, but he's headed to College Station.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And quick basketball note, Latrell Wrightsell is back for another year at Alabama. It's interesting how Alabama's collective is the one that breaks all their news. It's actually not a bad strategy, but they've kind of become a news outlet. Yay, Alabama, their collective released the news that Wrightsell's been granted a medical redshirt year. He'll play another season for the Crimson Tide. Played in just 8 games last year before season-ending Achilles injury. I mean, he was averaging 11 points per game before the injury and was shooting 42% from three. But Latrell Wrightsell back in Tuscaloosa. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. It's easy, y'all. Kill mold, remove odor. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. They'll come to your home, to your office, whatever it may be. If you have mold, other harmful pathogens, maybe there's a sickness going around the office or church or medical facility, whatever it is, they can come, they can spray. It's easy. And remember, it's a dry fog. So just think about what that means. If you have a wet fog, that means you're getting moisture into carpet and furniture and walls. This is a dry fog treatment, so you don't have to worry about pulling up carpet or cutting sheetrock or any of that stuff. They're going to spray. It'll dwell, kill all the mold down to the spores, all the other harmful pathogens, remove odor as well. As soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're back in. Free, clear, clean smelling. It's Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com to schedule that consultation for Parish Restoration. All right, y'all, it is after further review. Alondra's back with us here as well. This is Alondra's first appearance since just jetting off to Omaha in a blaze of glory. How was your kamikaze trip?
It was great. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was very exciting. And
you left Thursday or Friday?
We left Thursday right after Off the Bench. So I did Off the Bench, and then we went to Bentonville, Arkansas. Stopped there. It was 9 hours to Bentonville. Don't know if you've ever heard of it. But
yeah. Isn't Bentonville where
that's
Walmart's
where
from?
Walmart is. Yeah. So I didn't know that whenever we stopped there, but I just thought we were stopping some
Keep living
random
life.
town.
You'll learn where big companies are headquartered. Yeah.
And then we drove the next 6 hours to Omaha, but we did stop in Kansas City because there's a barbecue place there that Anthony Bourdain recommended.
Who's
so
Anthony Bourdain? See, this I know Bentonville, Arkansas.
Wait.
I don't know Anthony Bourdain.
You don't know Anthony Bourdain.
You don't know Bentonville, Arkansas is where Walmart's from?
Why would I know that?
Because it's the world's largest retailer.
Anthony Bourdain is like pop culture, like.
Hi.
I need to know.
Hi. Alondra, I'm Matt.
I know.
I'm 43 years old.
I know.
And it's well established here that pop culture in my life stopped in 2014. When my son was born, nothing has happened
He
since.
was a thing back then. But anyway, he's
back
like a
when?
food. He would travel the world, and like he's not alive anymore.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm like 100% positive. But yes, he recommended to go. It was actually really good. As someone from Texas that's like a barbecue connoisseur, it was great barbecue. But then we drove.
He was only 61 when he died in 2018.
Yeah, it was not a good situation.
What happened?
I don't know. He often he committed suicide. So, but it was a really good barbecue place. Then we went to Omaha Friday night. Met up with Hunt. Hunt was so happy to see us. He had not seen anybody for like a week and a half, so he was very happy to see us. Saturday was very exciting because, it was 1-0 game. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Kate Anderson with a complete game shutout in the College World Series. I mean, 1 of 1. And then Sunday was just dream come true.
Yeah.
Not just for me, but for a lot of people. And
saw T-Bob?
We saw T-Bob, yes, and it's crazy because it's like traveling with Elvis. Like, especially at a place like that where every LSU fan ever is in the same spot. We could not move an inch without somebody stopping us and wanting a picture or like to say hi to T-Bob. Or
he's also 6'3", 280.
You can't miss him.
You can't miss him.
Cannot miss him.
And he always wears the same thing, and he's got long hair, and so it's like he's just a target.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no hiding really when you're T-Bob.
No.
So I'm glad y'all had a safe trip.
Yes.
Glad y'all got to experience it.
We did the full 15 hours yesterday.
Watching your team win in Omaha is pretty special.
Yes.
So got to do that 25 years ago.
Yeah.
When LSU won it in 2000. Haven't been back since. Would love to do it someday again.
Yeah.
But what a year to be there. A guy who knows well what it feels like. This guy who was on the field for the Tigers this entire season. Michael Braswell is in our studio. He's going to join us when we come back. It's AFR. I promise you it's AFR. You need to hit the stab.
It hit. It just, I don't know why I didn't play.
So I should just go anyway?
Should just go.
Or do the affiliates know to break?
It got hit. Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. We're brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Boy, we're going to screw this one up, Alondra, because we got the 3-second stab at the end.
I know.
I
got
this
it.
Is
I
just
had
bad
the
news.
time
I'm going to make
on.
it. I'm going to do a make good for Darren either
Okay.
way. Agent225.com. Agent225.com If you're thinking of selling your home, you want to hire the best realtor, hire the realtor that sells more homes than anyone. Seems like a pretty obvious choice. Darren James on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. As a matter of fact, he was in the top 50 last year. It's incredible to think. I mean, of all the thousands upon thousands of realtors in America, Darren James from right here in Baton Rouge on that list. You need to sell your home? You need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
The mirror's image, it tells me it's home.
The 1-2. Ground ball. Braswell coming over. Gloves it. Trying to get set. Throws to first. In time to get Mijos at first base. I see you, Michael Braswell. Stayed with the play. Let's see if Coastal Carolina wants to challenge that call at first. Doesn't look like it.
Go ahead. Challenge it because he's out. Michael Braswell is the best third baseman in the country defensively.
Chris Blair, Doug Thompson on the call from Omaha, talking about the guy sitting to my left, Michael Braswell, good enough to join us in studio, man. Thank you for the time, man. Appreciate you coming in. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for the invite.
I bet you are doing great, man.
Yeah.
Polishing off a career with a national championship. Let's start with the end, and then we'll kind of go backwards since we have a good bit of time here with you. Let's go to Sunday afternoon, man. You've already gotten game one in the back pocket. What was Coach Johnson saying to you all before the game, knowing like you're giving the ball to Anthony Ianson and you got a chance to win a national championship?
Well, going into the series, I mean, just beating Arkansas the way we did, and not having to use Anthony because he was warming up in the pen before that. As us overall as a team, we had a lot of confidence going into it, having Andy and Ant ready to go. And we just took it as, it's just a weekend series for the championship, like a casual SEC series. And, Coach always preaches, we take it a pitch at a time, execution, don't worry about the outside factors. And that's pretty much the same thing he echoed there. I mean, he told us pretty much we're champions without even the championship. Obviously, you want to win the championship.
Yeah, you want to win the championship.
Yeah,
it's nice to get the ring and the trophy and all the stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, just he tried to take the pressure off of us because at the same time, like, it's baseball, man. And we knew that if we just handled our business and focused on executing our plan at the plate or in the field or, at a pitch, then, the job will take care of itself.
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting that you said it that way because one of the things that I kind of talked about yesterday, and I know there was a big controversy about Coach Schnall getting ejected. It seemed like, and I was watching on TV, you were there.
Yeah.
It seemed like that moment got big for them. And I think it's easy to say for me being far away and watching, but the contrast of what happened on Saturday night when Dickinson got hit in the arm, and after the game, Jay said, look, I got to be poised and in control for my team, and I knew the rule, and I had to stay in the duck. And then arguing balls and strikes in the first inning.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you reacted that way because that's the thing. I mean, I'm not asking you to say anything about another coach, but like you're arguing balls and strikes in the first inning.
Yeah.
The first inning.
Yeah, I mean.
You're coming out of the dugout and throwing up threes at an umpire in the first inning. Yeah. It felt like, you can react to that if you want, but it felt like the moment got big for them.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, I mean, there's a time and place for everything, right? I mean, and arguing, like sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes there's times where you want your coach to get out there and get ejected. Sometimes, you know, like if it's a tight ball game, the team's kind of down and, it's a one-run ball game and we're down and, the team mojo is not where it needs to be and the coach gets ejected, it could fire you up. There's a time and place for everything. But, I mean, honestly, I was in the field. Like I said, I was at third base when it happened. And I was like, my first reaction was, that was a short leash from the umpire. Because I was close up. I was next to their dugout. And I heard what they were saying, and it wasn't even really that crazy, honestly. He was like, man, you missed three. You missed three the whole game. You've been bad the whole season. You missed three this game and all that stuff. And I'm thinking in my mind when he says it, I'm like, okay, like it's the national championship game. It's the first inning. There's no way he's getting thrown out in the first inning. And then that was just insane. And then the craziest part to me was the umpire tumbling. I looked at it, I was like, dude, I went back in the dugout after that. I'm like, dude, I know ESPN and Twitter are going insane right now. Yeah, I was saying, I know ESPN and Twitter are going insane right now.
Yes.
So, guys, I was like, in the first inning with your season on the line, that happening, that was just insane.
It was a circus.
Yeah, I mean, and Coach Johnson always preaches, like we're a no drama program. He tries his best to instill that in us, and he definitely uses that himself as well. He doesn't want anything to get in the way of our team's execution on the field, and he's not a guy to make it all about himself at all. So he's not a guy to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Michael Braswell's in studio with us. As the game plays out, when in the top of the fourth, you had a big opportunity in the top of the fourth with second and third with after. Dick, by the way, Dickinson playing with a broken hand.
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all know?
Yeah, we knew it.
When did you all know?
We knew it when it happened, honestly. Like, it happened, I think it was Little Rock, right?
The first
and then
game
he took a swing, and he was like a little slow after looking at his hand. And after that, his bat speed wasn't the same. Like, I don't know if y'all can see it on TV, but he definitely wasn't swinging the bat the same way for the rest of the playoffs. And, he toughed it out. I mean, Dickie's the man. He's one of the toughest guys I've ever been around. And, he handled it with class and handled it professionally, and there was nothing taking him off that field. He had a long journey to get there, and there was no way he was going to get off that field. But yeah, we definitely could tell immediately. I mean, it's one of the things you have to look back at the game to see it. Like, I think it was one of his last ABs against Little Rock, and you can see him look at his hand, and then after that, his swings just quite weren't the same.
We had Jay with us yesterday, and he was kind of talking about it. He's like, yeah, I tried to hide it a little bit by just slowly moving him down in the order,
Yeah.
and he was bunting. I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now
Yeah.
as you're playing it all out. But
Yeah.
but when Curiel comes up with the 2 RBI knock and you're 5-1, like at that point for me, it felt like, all right, well, that's curtains because it's Ince and it's Shore. Everybody's queued up and you got a 4-run lead.
Yeah.
What did it feel like for y'all whenever you were up 5-1 in that spot?
I mean, you definitely, like, it's one of those things where you have to fight the feeling that it's curtains. You have to fight it that, like, okay, the game's over. Because as soon as you say that, I mean, it's baseball, man. As soon as you get comfortable, as soon as something happens, like, that's what happened to us. So when we played Little Rock the first time in the regional, quite honestly, we looked over them. I mean, we were like, as soon as we were in the locker room watching them play Baptist, and we were cheering in the locker room as soon as they won. We were like, yes, we're going to Supers.
I love talking to guys when they're done playing because they'll say all the things they won't say when they're playing.
Yeah, like we're going to Supers. We're like, yes. And then that's exactly when it happens, when they catch you. And I was telling the team, I was like, man, that moment right there, us losing to Little Rock, is what set us up for the whole rest of the postseason run.
Mm-hmm.
It made us think, hey, it made us re-engage. Because remember, at that point, we were 7-0 Little Rock. I think we won, 11-0 Dallas Baptist. We were like, man, no team could beat us. And then after that, we were just like, okay, like, guys, we have to, like, stay within our plan, I don't want to be that coach is right guy, but coach was right. We got to stay within our plan and take it pitch at a time. And that's kind of what we did when Curiel hit that hit. We were like, okay, guys, yes, we have a lead. Yes, we're extremely confident in our ability to close this game out. But, hey, we still have to just play at a pitch at a time, and don't chase the ending. Just chase the execution in the one pitch. And, it worked out for us.
We're coming up at a break here in about 2 minutes. One of the really cool things when a championship happens is in those moments after you look at everyone's organic reaction.
Yeah.
Like one day you'll experience this, but it's almost like when you look at when people are getting married, like you look at the groom when he first sees the bride walking down the aisle. It's the only thing, for those of us who will never play in Omaha, it's maybe the most real thing I can compare it to. But whenever they hit the 4-6-3 double play and the game's over, like take me to that moment. What's going where this your eyes? What happens?
I mean, I fell to my knees and just was on my back, just on my head, because dog, we came a long way to get to that point, man. I mean, it might look easy from the outside looking in, but dog, it was not easy getting to that point, and especially for me personally, I just, it's been a long road to get to that point, and I never thought I'd be in that position to win a national title, and, I love those guys, and to do it with those guys and those people, just everything, it just was overwhelming for me at first, and then after a while, I looked, I was like, okay, wait, time to get in that dog pile.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you get on the dog pile?
Yeah, I did get in the dog pile. I did.
I think the smart thing to do, though, is to wait. You don't want to be on the bottom of the dog pile.
Yeah.
So, actually, the fact that you did fall down, there's a great shot of you and Chris Stanfield. You don't want to be on the bottom. So you wait, and then you just get on the top, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the heady veteran play right there.
Yeah.
Who was on the bottom?
Do
you know?
Probably, I'd assume Chase Shores because he closed it out. Usually the guy that closes out is on the bottom, and he's well prepared for it. He's 6'9", so he's a big tree. So he definitely probably hurt, but
I mean,
the adrenaline probably got it to him.
Heard too many injuries, stories of guys at the bottom of dog piles. Thank God it's after the last game, not any before that. Michael Braswell is in studio with us. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We're going to grab a break. We're going to get Sports Center. Said he's got time. You're good?
I got more than enough time.
He's got nothing to do. Yeah. So I want to talk about Braswell's season, his career, and also what's next, because there might be some interesting little tidbits there we'll get to. Hour 2 of AFR is coming up after Sports Center.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. Hey, look, the family scone is hitting the road to the beach coming up on Thursday. If you're hitting the road to the beach, if you're going to Disney, if you're going to the mountains in Tennessee, or wherever you may be going this summer, make sure you bring your vehicle to Shawbills. Schedule your service online at ShawBillsTire.com. You can shop tires online at ShawBillsTire.com. It's easy. You just punch in the make, model, body style of your vehicle. It'll tell you exactly what tires would fit. ShawBillsTire.com. There's even a really helpful little chat bubble on the homepage of the site and the mobile site. So if you want to chat with an associate, it's easy. You just select the location nearest you, and just like that, in an instant, you're chatting with an associate who can help you schedule service or whatever you may need. It's Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. So log on to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. They've been doing it since 1968. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.